Star Wars Ahsoka episodes 1 through 3 so far, honestly, in my opinion, have been very underwhelming. I've not really been all impressed. And to really just bundle things up very quickly for you guys, I find the acting very subpar, the dialogue very drawn out, where a lot of pauses are seen in between sets of dialogue, especially in the first 2 episodes, and just a lot of scenes just seem like they are ripped off from past movies and or Star Wars projects that you can actually see how predictable they really are. A map to Thrawn, a map to Skywalker, various shots and sequences, such as in episode 3, where we have the whole Sabine and Ahsoka training session and more. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. Also very much for the great and kind support. And let's get right into exactly what's going on with Star Wars Ahsoka. Now, like I said many times before in the past, that this series was a make or break situation for the Star Wars franchise, for Disney, and of course, let's not forget about Dave Filoni and others associated with the show. Now, given that Ahsoka Season 1 so far has not really been too bright, a lot of fans have been very much divided, a lot of fans have been really struggling to keep themselves enthusiastic through and through, consistently through each and every episode so far. Now, we talked about earlier how the second season of Ahsoka was cancelled, and that is indeed a thing that actually transpired behind the scenes over at Lucasfilm. However, the true story of it all gets even worse, as it does involve a lot of things to do with Rian Johnson, the sequel trilogy, and of course even Bob Iger. Let's get into all of the nitty-gritty details, essentially. So, with Disney and Lucasfilm struggling to this day with the Ahsoka series, however, one major development has to do with the cancellation of the Ahsoka series that was greenlit by Bob Iger not so long ago and the Disney board. However, recently the Disney higher-ups decided to put a full stop to an announcement for the second season of Ahsoka at this year's D23 event. This was both due to Bob Iger's cost containment plan and the lower than expected viewership levels for Season 1 so far for the show. However, the second season was supposed to be a Sabine-focused story with her training with Ahsoka becoming mastered and would primarily focus on a new war taking place in 2 different galaxies. The following season was to focus on a new type of power different than the Force called the Vitality. This was an idea by Rian Johnson for his Star Wars trilogy that, as it turns out, was going to be adopted by Dave Filoni for Season 2 of Ahsoka. It was reportedly the evolution of the Force into something far different than the Force itself. Another reason why Disney decided to pull the plug on the second season was the fact that this season in particular was planned to hold twice the budget of Ahsoka Season 1, and due to Bob Iger's cost containment plan, this only made this nearly impossible to move forward with. Now guys, let me just pause here quick before I get to the next big piece of this ongoing development, is that I find that Ahsoka Season 1, even though the title is all about her, the story is apparently focused on her, is anybody else feeling the same exact thing as I am? That it almost comes across like a bait and switch situation where this show is slowly but surely becoming the Sabine Wren show. It just seems like it's coming across like that. There's a lot of shots in this show where Ahsoka is seen to the side, or she's in the background, and Sabine is at the forefront, in the center of the frame, and it's all about her lately. It's about Sabine's training, it's about Sabine rising to become a Jedi, exploring the Force. This doesn't really seem to be an Ahsoka-centric show so far. But I digress. I think a lot of you may disagree or agree with me on this. I'm sure fans will be divided on my opinion with that. But we all have our takes on everything Star Wars, right? So, like I've criticized days ago, the concept of introducing multiple galaxies is something that I thought was pure ludicrous, and the fact that they are about to venture into another galaxy and abandon the one that is the home of the Skywalkers, the home of the original trilogy, I think is just breaking Star Wars into 2. A lot of people out there, would say that another galaxy is a great thing and that it's going to be used as a way to create different timelines. I don't believe so in the least. You know, I don't think multiple galaxies necessarily mean different timelines. It literally just means you're abandoning the home of what Star Wars really is. But anyway, let's move on to the next. So, many of the overall Rian Johnson ideas, however, for this trilogy, or for his trilogy, as it turns out, was adopted indeed by Dave Filoni for this season of Ahsoka, and it was going to actually up the ante with doing that for season 2. Disney came to the realization that it would be best to save this all for Dave Filoni's Star Wars movie instead to continue that story, that they still plan to drop in 2026 as they want to rely on ticket sales instead of just Disney Plus subscriptions. Dave Filoni is a big fan, as it turns out, of both Rian Johnson and Leslie Headland, both creators of the two most controversial Star Wars projects, The Last Jedi and The Acolyte. By the way, guys, yes, Dave Filoni did go on stage at Celebration raving about The Acolyte by the very creator that said that George Lucas, if you are looking to him as the key to Star Wars, then you're a misogynist. And I think that just goes to open your eyes exactly what's going on here. Now, both of which are fan dividers, both The Last Jedi and The Acolyte, and franchise breakers at that. Even all the more so with The Acolyte. Filoni also wanted to make Ahsoka Season 2 a larger scale season. This was not possible with Iger's cost containment plan. Now, like I said earlier, the biggest problem that I have with the show so far is that almost every scene is a direct scene from a past movie where you know exactly what's going to happen. I thought that the most ridiculous thing about episode 3 was when, spoilers by the way, Ahsoka literally goes outside of the ship into space in a space suit and is literally flying in midair in space, using her lightsabers against these starships coming toward her. We all knew what was going to happen. She was going to take them out. This was almost like the Leia situation in The Last Jedi when she's in space. Another prime example, Balin's skull, like I mentioned earlier in episode 1, where he's in the hallway on that ship deflecting blaster fire from the rebels and force choking that rebel. It's a direct scene from Rogue One where Vader does that. Another scene that I have to mention is, you know, where we have the moment in episode 3 where you have Sabine with the blindfold, you know, the helmet in front of her where she can't see. It's literally A New Hope where Obi-Wan is training Luke. We all know what's gonna happen, you know. It's like too many scenes are just direct copies and paste situations, and it's just thrown into the actual show. I think that's what a lot of people are having issues with, and it's not just that, it's the dialogue, it's the acting, and the mixture of people that don't know anything about Rebels is not happening, is not actually helping either, I should say. So I would like to hear everyone's take on Ahsoka Season 1 so far, especially with Episode 3, that really, I feel, was very slow-paced again in the first half, and a very drawn-out space fight sequence. So anyway, guys, you know, drop a comment below, fill me below in the comments what you all have to say about this, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.